And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. These words from John Kennedy over 50 years ago set a vision for the country, a vision of patriotism and service, which we still follow today. Words have power to create a vision. And we as Toastmasters get to practice and use that power and become better at creating that vision. Tonight, I'm going to challenge you to work harder and join me in creating vision on an individual basis, where it doesn't have to be a grand speech like President Kennedy's. When I was a freshman in high school, I went out for the football team. And I wasn't very good my freshman year, so all I got done was I would play defense against our star center. I would charge and he would knock me down, and I would get up and he would knock me down. So I went out for most of the year, and I got pretty discouraged. So when our line coach came over, I thought, I'm going to get yelled at again, because Mr. DeCola was a tough person. He had this reputation for being very hard on the players. So when he called me over and said, Lee, I want to talk to you, I didn't think it could be a good thing. But he said, Lee, you know what? I thought you might make the first team this year. If you had worked a little harder, if you had built your strength a little bit more, and next year, here's what I want you to do to make first team. So right away, there I was, someone that was basically a blocking dummy for the year, all of a sudden transformed into someone that could be next year playing varsity. Now, I did play some football the following years, but that isn't what I remember most from my high school. It was Mr. DeCola setting that vision of what I could become. In Dale Carnegie, the personal development trainer that pioneered a lot of the public speaking classes, put it this way: give someone a fine reputation to live up to. They may have their visions set short, but if you tell them where they can go, then they can accomplish that. And we as Toastmasters, we get to practice that every day, or every week at least. And Words of Mouth Toastmasters, since I joined 10 years ago, has always strived to make that goal. When I walked in, I was welcomed by Julie Johnson, who made me feel very welcome and very encouraged and glad. She was glad that I was there. And then there was my first table topics, or one of my first table topics. It wasn't my first. But I stood up and said absolutely nothing. And it seemed like probably must have been a good 10 minutes I just stood there. And then I mumbled something and sat down. And I think Ben Reen, we missed that meeting, thank goodness. But then after the meeting, people come up and encourage me. So there's times when Toastmasters needs to encourage you, not just when you're going high, but when you're struggling a little bit. And our club has always been very good at that. The other thing that we do very well is evaluations. And again, when I gave a speech, one of my first meeting, first 3 speeches, I think, there was our public relations VP who gave me the evaluation that you would think I was a great, great speaker. And she gave me that vision of she created for me fine reputation. So Toastmasters, it's easy for us, at least for me, to get through 1 hour a week here at Toastmasters. But then by Wednesday morning when I'm at work, things just fall apart. So I'm challenging each of us to try and take what we learn here and use it every day in our lives, in our work, in our religious pursuits, so that we can make a difference. When you're dealing with conflict, it's often hard, though. So I'd like to ask you to think before you speak. And the think is an acronym where the T stands for true. Make sure what you're saying is true. The H is helpful. Make it helpful. The I is inspirational, and the N, necessary. And the last and most important, the K is for kindness. So if we can take that approach in our daily lives, in our jobs, when it's not quite as easy as this welcoming club here, we can make change in this world. We can make a difference in a positive way. And in closing, I would like to quote Bob Marley, the late reggae singer. The greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him in a positive way.